All right, just check my sound. Oh, that's very good. Just making sure I don't have an echo. So we've still got a couple of minutes till we start. I'm just checking the sounds. Testing sound. Oh. If you're already here, definitely send me a comment. Unless you're on YouTube and not logged in, then you probably can't write a comment. But if you are there, let me know if it sounds all right on your end. I'm just going to mute for a second, check on my end, and then we'll get started. Right, one more test. If you're here, send me a thumbs up or a heart. Right, one more test. Very good. All right. I just want to make sure there's no echo at your end. Cool. Okay. Hopefully that sound at your end is working. And I'm just going to get rid of this. You only need one picture of me. There. Cool. Thank you if you're joining live. And welcome to anyone who watches this as a replay. Hopefully the sound's okay at your end. And if not, too bad, I suppose. I'm going to talk tonight about an upcoming challenge that I've got and give you a little bit of information about what's involved. Also, when it comes to building muscle and losing body fat, where most people stuff it up. Some of this you've probably heard before. There's probably a few little gold nuggets there that you haven't heard, but from my point of view, I'm just going to give you a couple of things that I think are really helpful. So obviously we're at the last day of winter. Spring starts tomorrow. So if you're starting to get motivated again and you're looking for some tools of wisdom, you'll get that tonight. And if you're thinking about joining my challenge and you're not sure what's involved, hopefully tonight is going to lay it out for you in a way where it's really easy to understand. So if it is something that you want to do, you can jump in and sign up tonight. So without further ado, first of all, I want to tell you about me because you might be new here and you might not know who I am. I might have just popped into your feed randomly. But I'm Trish. I'm a coach and I've been in the industry for nearly 2 decades, for around 18, nearly 19 years now. Hundreds of client transformations, fat loss, body composition, bodybuilding, every type of sport. I've dealt with every type of injury, every type of ailment, allergy, you name it. I've been there. I've got a huge amount of experience, and I've tried to push it all down into this tiny little presentation. So I don't want to go on too long about who I am, because tonight it's about what you can get out of this. But I'm a very evidence-based coach. So that means I have the qualifications and the science, but I teach very much from an evidence-based point of view. So this is the information, this is the science, this is the research. These people have implemented it. These are the results that they got. This is how they did it, how they interpreted the information, and how it can relate to you. So it's very, very much about from the client point of view rather than what's the latest research, what's the latest clinical trials on this, that, whatever. That stuff's helpful. But what I think is most helpful for people that are actually looking to make a change in their habits, their lifestyle, and their body composition is how does that information actually relate to you? That's what I specialize in. In terms of my own coaching and my own training, between myself and Dave, my partner, we've been in the industry for nearly 20 years, like I said, and we've probably spent close to 100K just on our own upskilling. So that's courses that we've done, qualifications, certifications, you name it. I've got comments coming through too, so if you write anything, I can see them. But in terms of wanting to be a good coach, I spend a lot of time on my own professional development. So I just bring the information to you that I think is going to be helpful and relevant to you. And I've built a new online platform, which is on School. So School with a K. It's called ZFG Fitness School. I'm going to tell you more about that soon, but that's where I host all my challenges. So if I talk to you first about where most people fail when it comes to fat loss, this to me is the most common, the most the biggest bang for your buck as well. So yes, it's where people stuff it up, but it's also where if you get this right, you won't feel like you need to work that hard to get the result that you want. So little things like trying to change everything overnight, this tends to happen when people come out of winter and into summer, because what happens is we might have felt unmotivated for a few months. So we start trying to make up for what we haven't been doing. And that's the all or nothing mindset, right? It's I haven't been doing anything for a while, so I need to try and do heaps to try and make up for it. The issue is when you try and do heaps, you're going to end up burning out and then you do nothing again. So that's why it's always so up and down. So that's one of the most common areas where people stuff it up when they're trying to get in shape. But relying on motivation instead of structure. So if you need someone to motivate you, just a sign you don't have a structure that actually works for your, not just your goal, but also your lifestyle, your job, the things that you like, food that you like eating, your personality type, learning style, all that sort of thing. And panicking when progress is not perfectly linear. So I said well about this the other day, which you might have got. People assume that if they do the right training and they eat the right food, that they're going to get an exact result. So they think that they can predict an exact outcome. The issue is the body is so complex that nobody completely understands the whole entire body. We have areas of specialty, but to say that you can definitely do this, this, and this, and get this exact outcome, it's just not sustainable. It's not achievable, and it basically all that does is set you up to fail, right? Because if you expect a certain outcome and your physiology dictates that you get a different result, you're going to feel like a failure anyway, even though you probably were doing all the right things. So it's panicking when you don't get the result that you want, rather than just adjusting, looking at the data, and basically staying consistent for long enough to figure out whether what you're doing is actually working. Expecting the body to have a calculator, that's too. So it's going, right, I do this. If I use this calculator and I do this optimal training program, I'm going to get the result. But the issue is you have to factor in everything else around that. So what you've done in the past, where your metabolism is at now, how old you are, how stressed you are, how much sleep you're getting, all that sort of thing that plays a role as well. So even if you are doing the right stuff, it doesn't mean you're going to get the exact same result every time. And turning one imperfect choice into an entire week off. Again, that's the all or nothing mindset, right? So I fucked it up, so I might as well just like carry on. Whereas if you have a sustainable plan, you can factor in all the things you like doing. And that's the food you like eating, workouts you like doing, all that sort of. You can factor it in. But if you count that as like a bad thing, then automatically you feel guilty, and it creates that self sabotage loop. So this is the kind of the most common areas where people suffer up. This is the thing too. I want you to really think about and take on board is you can control your plan, but you cannot control the exact outcome of that. So even if you eat all the right food, do all the right training, you still can't accurately control what outcome you're going to get. You cannot predict exactly what's going to happen, especially fat loss. So if you're new and you've got quite a lot of body fat to lose at the start, you can almost accurately predict you're going to lose the same amount of weight each week. But eventually you'll get to a point where it starts to kind of zigzag, and that's normal. Like expecting the outcome to change week to week is actually normal, and it's a sign that you're past the beginner phase and you're more getting into intermediate and advanced territory. So if you think that you can do X amount of calories, X amount of training, and it's going to give you X amount result of fat loss and building muscle, that's where people tend to suffer up too, because then they don't get the outcome they want, or it's not exactly what they expected. And so they feel like they failed, when really it was just that they were on the path, and that week they might have lost a little bit less, a little bit more. So it does start to zigzag the further along you get. So you can certainly train consistently. You can follow your nutrition plan like exactly to the letter with no cheating whatsoever. And you can prioritize your sleep and your recovery. But making an educated guess about the outcome, it's actually, you can't do that. And anyone who tells you that they can accurately predict the outcome is either not that experienced, or they're just trying to humor you. You have to make as many educated guesses as you can, basically. So the more experience you have, the more educated guesses you can make. But every human is slightly different. So it's taking that on board and knowing that you don't get the same result every week. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It might just mean you haven't been sticking to the plan long enough at that point to get the result that you want. All right. So your job when you have a goal, when you want to build muscle, lose body fat, get on stage, do a event, whatever it is, your goal is to just keep adjusting. So do a patch work, measure the result, make a small adjustment, and then improve for next time. That's all you can do. Like, that's literally all you can do. So again, when it comes to mistakes that people make, doing more cardio because you feel like you want to speed up the result, or maybe you don't feel like you've done enough to achieve the result that you want. That's a really common one, and I've been there before. I've been the cardio bunny. Eating less and less, so your calorie intake is going down, down, and down. So you're making that gap between what you expend and what you consume bigger and bigger and bigger. Treating one bad meal like it's failure, instead of going, right, these non-compliant meals or off meals or whatever you want to call them are actually part of my plan. So there's no guilt attached to it, and as soon as you're done with it, you just get straight back on the wagon. Whereas if you feel like you're failing, that's automatic self-sabotage, because you have that negative feeling in your head. You are more likely going with the negative feelings rather than going, okay, I'm going to plan to do something that I enjoy here, here, and here. It's part of the plan. It's not failure, it's actually part of the system. Choosing a perfect weekly scale result. So, like I would say, expecting to lose like half a kilo every week. I know we just do that because it sounds healthy to lose that much every week, but half a kilo is like half a liter of water. It's like half of this. You could drink a whole bottle of water and you're going to be a kilo heavier on the scale. So half a kilo in your body, if you lose that, it's not necessarily body fat anyway. So you have to accept, especially as you get further along in your journey, that the amount you lose is going to zigzag. Sometimes it's weight on the scale will actually go up because you become more dense, you build muscle, so there's inflammation in your body while you're actually like tearing muscle fibers down and regrowing them. Confusing working hard with working better. So that would be things like just doing more and more workouts, eating less and less food, and just being busy rather than being productive. And that comes back to obviously not having the right system, not having the right structure, just kind of throwing shit at the wall and having something sticks. So what actually does create results? I was like using Megan here for this result because Megan did almost very minimal training, because in that left photo after she had her child, she had a chronic fatigue syndrome, and she had it for about 2 years after her childbirth. So it took her a long time to recover. So she didn't physically have the energy to do a lot of training. So when it comes to weight training, she averaged 3 weight sessions a week of about 45 minutes each. That was all she had. That was all she could do because especially if you were a little bit more advanced and you get stronger, you can't actually take more volume because you can't recover from it. So your training is only ever as good as your ability to recover from that training, right? So if you are chronically overtrained, you're sleep deprived, whatever, your body's not going to recover from those workouts anyway. So she averaged 2 or 3 weight training sessions a week, and it was 1 cardio a week, I think. So she had minimum 2 days off, nothing each week, often a third day as well. So her results were her training was minimal, and yet her results were very, very powerful, okay? Because she focused on, when she did those weight trainings, progressive overload. So she didn't do more workouts, she just put more in the sessions doing from one week to the next. Sensible nutrition, so to fuel rather than to lose body fat, which you will still lose if you eat fuel, but it's a mindset. So you're eating to put the right nutrients in your body to build muscle. And those nutrients just happen to be nutrient dense and calories fast. So fat loss ends up being a byproduct of what you're doing rather than the goal. Cardio supports your goal as well. So a small amount of cardio is very powerful because it's a stimulus. But if you do shitloads of cardio, what starts to happen is it eats into your recovery time from the weights, and then you can't go up in weights when you do your strength training. So you find that you're just doing too much of everything, and then it's just like moderate intensity across everything, rather than a few short, sharp, intense workouts that are like dynamite. Accountability, feedback, and adjustment. So this is being accurate with like tracking. So not just going to the gym and just kind of winging it, but you're actually tracking what you're doing. And that includes things like whether you had energy that day, whether you slept well, whether you just feeling a bit shit, maybe you've got some bad news that affect your workout stress. Just tracking that, like in your journal, is actually incredibly powerful. And repeating the basics long enough for it to actually work. So how many people can actually say they've done like 12 weeks of structured tracking everything, tracking all their weights, their reps and their sets, their nutrition intake for 12 weeks without falling off and going, oh, I had a shit day, so I didn't track today. 12 weeks, if you can do it consistently for 12 weeks, you learn so much about yourself. And you don't even need to show anyone else. You just look back at it and go, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't drinking water, or I didn't realize I was drinking that much coffee, or I didn't realize I was missing one workout every single week for the 12 weeks. So clearly 4 workouts a week is too many for me. I can fit 3 and I just can't do 4. So self-regulation is a huge part of that. And if you just try and turn your brain off and just follow a meal plan and a training program, you only ever get so far because you don't learn to pay attention to your own biofeedback and what really works for your body. So creating results really comes back to doing a little bit less, learning how to track and measure, and figure out how you can make improvements in your own life. So with your job, your family, how many kids you have, who else you look after, what food you actually like, how quickly you recover from a session, different for everyone. So with the Spring Cut Challenge, it starts tomorrow because it's the first. It starts on a Tuesday, which is kind of annoying, but we'll roll with it. It is inside school, so all my challenges now are hosted inside school. So what that means is you're a member of school. Anyone who's a member of school can join the challenge, because I'm doing a challenge once every 12 weeks. The point of these challenges is not to just try and be perfect for 12 weeks and then fall off and go back to what you did before. It's to build momentum. So if you like the Spring Cut Challenge, you can stay and do the next challenge, but you're not locked in. Even if you don't like Spring Cut, you can leave in the middle of it. So you're actually not locked in. So hopefully you do like it, because I obviously want you to stay, but there's no locked-in contract. So you can literally go into the app and cancel whenever you want on the standard and premium membership, which I'll talk about soon. So it is a structured 12 weeks, which I do it along with you, okay, with a lesson. So there's a tutorial you have to watch each week, so you actually get educated on strength training, nutrition, all that sort of mindset, habits. There are programs in there that you can select. So if you want to learn how to strength train properly, there are strength training programs in there that you can select, and they are all evidence-based training programs. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, which one suits you, suits your goals, suits the amount of days that you can get to the gym, and all that sort of thing. So you choose the modules that suit your particular goal. So if you want fat loss, if you're new and you just want to do the foundation program, If you've done my programs before, then you can do the more advanced ones. There's a lean mass building program in there. So it teaches you how to eat towards those goals, but also how to train towards those goals. There's live coaching. I go live every Monday night called Q&A, mindset coaching, and to answer anything. So if you go through the tutorials in Run Sure, there's an opportunity to ask questions. And then on the Wednesday night, I'll be going live. This is my live stream room, to do a cardio. I have not been very consistent with my cardio. So if you want to go live, you can do a cardio with me on Wednesday night throughout the whole Spring Cut Challenge. So your cardio session, if you want to do it, you do it with me on Wednesday nights at 5:30, and it's live inside school. And then if you miss it, you just do the replay. Cool. So there's community, there's coaching, there's support, there's accountability, there's fun things all the time. You're going to feel, you feel like you're in a school. That's why I put it on the school platform, because I want you to feel like you're being educated, to learn to do yourself. You don't have to stay forever, but I do want you to stay long enough to build that momentum so this stuff actually starts to be embedded as a habit. So you get rid of that all or nothing mindset and that, I had one bad meal and I failed. Hey, I want to change your mindset, not just your habits, not just your food, not just your training, but I actually want to change the way that you think about health. One of the big compliments one of my clients ever gave me was, she said, I gave her a 360-degree view of health and fitness. So I wasn't just teaching her food and exercise, I was teaching her how to think about it. So how to see things from every point of view so that it's much easier to make your own decisions. Okay, so you can join the challenge for this one. So you literally just sign up to my school and you're in. The first 7 days of the trial, because every trial, regardless of if you're committed or not, if you don't, you can just leave. And hopefully you love it. But that is the point of school, is that's where I host my challenges now. So what else is included? So there is a classroom inside school, and there's little modules like mini courses in there. Okay, so if you're new and you've never done the program with me before, you just do the foundation series, and it's the cheapest one. It's called Standard, and there's a little lesson you need to watch once a week, and then I'm going live throughout the week to answer your questions, and you're going to learn about proteins, carbs, and fats, strength training, progressive overload, and then you select the modules that actually start taking action. And yes, there's recipes in there. Most people don't use the recipes. They look at recipes for like motivation because they're colourful, they're easy to make, ingredients lists, and then they go make their own version of those recipes. So the point of the recipe is not to make recipes. I mean, you can make them. The point of them is to just visually see how easy it can be to execute the food if you just have something to start from. That's what they're there for, really. Cool. So yes, that's training programs. Okay, and just work around injuries, and if there's a modification, you can ask in a group or something like that. But these programs are, when I say that evidence-based, it means these are my real clients have executed these programs and proven that they work as well. So yes, they're science-based, yes, they're based on all the research, blah, 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 but also here's a real person who did it, and this is the result that they got. So you can actually be in a group of people who are actually working towards a very similar goal, have a very similar outcome. They're here to learn, they're here to be educated, but also execute at the same time and get a result from what they're doing. Cool. So the programs are realistic and they're not over-programmed. So I will say now, because I won't fault any false advertising, they're not fancy, they're not exciting, they are very boring. And you'll do like 4 exercises, strength training, 4 exercises, and it'll take you 45 minutes. There's a proper warm-up, okay? There's what to do between your working sets, aiming to do things correctly, and it will take you that long. When you're doing it properly and with focus and you're aiming for progressive overload, the workouts will take 45 minutes, maybe even an hour if you're training legs, and you're only doing 4 exercises. That's a good structured program. And then you literally just work on getting better at the basics week to week. Because that is how you build muscle. If it's over-programmed, it will be fun and exciting, but it'll also be overwhelming. It's hard to stick to, and it's also very hard to measure what you're doing, and it's hard to progressive overload. So that's why they're simple and basic, because the purpose of them is to be able to get stronger from one week to the next. Cool. So that's what you get in there. So you get those mini courses there, and you'll work through those modules throughout the 12-week program. Who is it for? Okay, well, I've put that it's for people with at least a year of lifting experience. And to be fair, the only reason why I've said that is because it's for people that like going to the gym and need structure. So if you hate going to the gym and you just not motivated or not consistent, you might not get much out of the challenge. And I say that because it's online, right? So I can't reach through the screen and like make you do it. So I have had people sign up online and then say, I need you to kick my ass. And I'm like, well, I actually can't because if I try, you can not log in. So it's for people that have a genuine desire to improve what they're doing or, have a certain amount of like intrinsic motivation, then those people get a huge amount out of it. Huge amount out of it. Because there's no pressure to be perfect. It's literally just start messy, learn some stuff, figure out what you can get better at, and then take it from there. So it is for the people that want structure, okay, without the excessive rules. Anyone stuck in their all or nothing cycle and they want to learn how to get out of it and break that habit. People who want to be, who want to lose fat while keeping their strength and their muscle, so you're not going to be on no calories. The goal is to actually eat nutrient dense food, right? So it's to fuel your body so that your body works optimally, because that is how you get stronger and how you build muscle. You can't do that when you lettuce leaves. Let's be real. Overthinkers who need a stop and just need a clear step and need to know what is my next step. That's why we break the lessons down into weeks. So each week there's one lesson to watch. There's a Q&A, implement something, learn something, wait through, and then do it again. So the challenge really is retaining. There's a lot of information. The challenge is really retaining all the information, especially if it's your first time going through it. And it is for everyone with at least one fight left to give. So ZFG, zero flexibility, really means that you just do what you can do. So don't give a fuck about what you can't do, or what you haven't done, or what you're failing at. Look at what you have done and just add something to it. And then look at what you've done and add something else. So don't worry about what everyone else is doing, or what they're achieving, or what they're lifting, or how much weight they've lost. Just worry about yourself. Like, forget it. Unfollow everyone on social media. This is what I did. This is what I did better. This is what I want to improve on next. And then just one step at a time. That's what ZFG actually is. So that's why I'm playing the school ZFG Fitness School. Okay, so we're here to learn. We're here to get better. Constant improvement without giving too many fucks. That's who it's for. The weekly structure works like this. Now, you don't have to follow the structure quickly, but it helps people to know what to execute or what to focus on each day of the week. So Monday night at 7:30, I will be going live inside school to give a little bit of a recap, Q&A, mindset session, and if anyone has questions from the lesson one information, they can ask live. If you can't make a live, you can watch the replay, totally fine. Tuesday, so that's when you're in the gym doing your strength training from one of the programs in the app. Wednesday, you go live with me on Wednesday night. I'll be doing cardio here. You can do it with me. All body weight. You don't need to be fit. In fact, it's better if you're not fit. You'll burn more calories that way. You can modify any exercise that you don't want to do. In fact, I can't see you. You'll be able to see me. I can't see you. So you can send comments. But if you join me live, I can literally just see there's like 4, 5, 10 people watching me. I'll see you. So you can do it or not do it. So it's up to you. Then Thursday, you can do strength training again, or LIA, which is low intensity activity. So that's like moderate activity. So you get to choose based on your goal and what program you're following. Saturday, there's pre-recorded workouts in the school as well. On Saturday, you can select one of the LIA, low intensity workouts, flexion mobility. Do that in your own time on Saturday. It will help you recover from the strength training. That's why it's there. So it's a little bit of a slowdown Saturday. And then Sunday, you get to recover and do your meal prep. So that's how the structure is going to work throughout Spring Cup. Few common questions. Do I have to track calories? No. You can if you want to. It's pretty complicated and annoying, so no, you don't have to. Can I keep doing my own workout? Sure. So if you just want to learn about nutrition and you feel like you're sorted with your exercise, you can still join. Same way around. So if you feel like you're sorted with your nutrition, but you want to learn about the exercise, you can also join. Do I need to be perfect? No. In fact, you need to stop worrying about being perfect and just that's the ZFG attitude. Right? I don't care about being perfect. I can make this work. I can ask stupid questions. I can do whatever. I can fall off. I'm just going to aim to do something better than I did the previous 12 weeks. That's it. Can I still eat the foods I enjoy? Obviously, yes. Is this a crash diet? No. What if my progress is slower than expected? Yep. Well, all you need to do is assess and adjust. If your progress isn't as fast as you expect it to be, that's when you look back on your own data. So, did I perform all my workouts? Did I miss any of them? Did I stick to my nutrition? Did I make some improvements? There, what you can see is, "Oh, actually, you know what? I failed the vegan more times than I realized," or, "I did stick to it. Now it's time to refine and make it better." Okay? So it always comes back to your data. If you have tracked accurately, you really easy to know where to go next. What if I failed before? Well, cool. Now we know one way that does work. That's the best way to look at failure. So yeah, it may not have worked, but now you found one more way that it doesn't work. So your next 12 weeks can go 2 ways. You can repeat the same all or nothing cycle again, if you choose to, or you can learn how to do the work with fewer fucks and stop starting over. So this is not about do 12 weeks hard. That's not what this is. This is do 12 weeks and start building momentum. So whatever you implement in these 12 weeks, the challenge to you is I want to do this for another 12 weeks afterwards. Whether you stay in the challenge or not, that's fine. But it's about momentum. So could you do 3 strength training sessions a week for the rest of your life? Probably. Could you do 6 days a week for the rest of your life? Heck no. So why would you do 6 days a week for this challenge if you know you can't keep doing it forever? This is about momentum, okay? The people that get the best results, they don't do a huge amount of work. They've just figured out what they can do week to week without falling off the wagon. Cool? So that's what this challenge is all about. So if you want to join, I've put like, in the comments, you see there's a link. You just click on my school hyperlink if you want to join, and it will pop. You have to click free trial, and then there's 3 options. Now it is in US dollars, so I'll tell you what it is in Australian dollars. Standard is the cheapest one. That's for anyone who's doing this for the first time. So if you're doing this for the first time, or you've had some time off and you want to come back and you want to do the first one, like start from scratch as a refresher, do that. So that's why we call it the foundation series. You have access to the first 12 weeks of information. So grab that one, programs in there. If you want to do one of the more advanced programs, so fat loss or lean mass and stuff like that, then you need premium. So that works out to about $97 a month. Cool? So that's a month. So it's like $25 a week or less. And remember, it's only for the amount that you want to be in the challenge. So if you're not happy, you can go. You can downgrade to standard if you like. My customized one is obviously a lot more expensive. I'm not doing an intake for that right now. But the standard and the premium are where you, if you're listening to this and you're not sure, you want one of those. If you're first time with me, go standard, the cheapest one. If you've done at least 1 or 2 challenges with me before, you're going to need premium. Cool. So you can join that link and you can sign straight up. So register and join. We start tomorrow. I'm doing a welcome video inside tomorrow morning. Okay, that will also be there as a replay. Can't catch any of the lives that are always replay. The first 7 days is free anyway. Okay, so if you don't join now, you don't actually start paying for 7 days. If you can't see the link, just go to school.com/Trishy. All right, and you'll find it there. CFG Fitness School, join in there. Again, no lock-in. Cancel anytime. You don't even need to tell me. You can cancel and you can just leave the group. So there's nothing to lose. Cool? You can be there for 4 days, actually, this is not, and you know what? I feel it. So hopefully that works. I would love to do the challenge, and if it's something you're thinking about, that's so fine. You can wait for the next one. But I would say now, the last day of winter, make tomorrow the first day of spring cut. Think about some habits you want to cut. Habits of mind. So do you have a certain mindset you want to cut? You know, it's the self-sabotage mindset, or talking yourself out of always saying that you can't do it. Maybe now is the time to stop doing that, and I'm the person to help. Thank you for listening. This will sit here as a replay for 24 hours. So I'll put out, if there's anyone out there that wants to watch the replay, you've got 24 hours to watch the replay. And if you can't be bothered to watch the replay, you can join the group anyway. Cool. Thanks for listening. See ya.